Dude, art, politics, psychology, philosophy, and love can meet commerce. We're talking to a clothing brand from Los Angeles that's doing all of that in their clothing. Dude, stay there. Next.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Lives. Breaking into.
Had a man last year, life goes on. Haven't let a thing loose, girl,
There we go. It's Monday after Mother's Day.
Yay.
Hi, moms. It's a nice day in Los Angeles, too.
I'm a mom.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Very good. It's a beautiful day after Mother's Day. We love this. Hello, welcome to Breaking Into here on Black Hollywood Live. I'm your host, James Lott Jr. Welcome back. I'm a year older. Yes, I know I look a year younger, don't I? Yeah, okay. Don't say anything. But I'm glad to be back because I'm bringing you yet another brand of clothing. This is like my third or fourth brand I brought on here because I just love this. As you guys know, I always wear printed tees with things and sayings on them. So why not wear something that actually means something? I believe that completely. I first saw a shirt. This is the power of social media. I saw a shirt, and I saw the name, I'm like, who are these people? This is really interesting. And I contacted them, did some more research, and they agreed to come on my show. It's very interesting. So, and for me, I'm like, good luck to them. Anytime you can dude anything, I'm very happy. So I love duding, so it's kind of fun. But I fell in love with their philosophy, and that's what we're going to talk about, their clothing brand, why they started, what they're talking about. I'm wearing one of their shirts.
What's that?
It's called Dude Be Nice, because I always say this on the show all the time. People should be nice. Nice should be the norm. I say it all the time.
He might steal that.
Yeah, probably
Take it easy. It's just theirs now, so like I should watch out. So I have the co-founders, people who are running this whole operation, and we're going to talk about their fair practices too. We talk about the factories. We have so much to talk about. I'm so excited.
There's a lot.
Veronica Tolentino and Brent Camalich.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Guys.
Well said, by the way. Camalich, you got that right the first time. That's rare.
Thank you, because I'm James Lott Jr. They know that out there. No. Welcome to the show.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having
having
I'm glad
us.
you guys are here.
Yeah.
So first, you can follow us on Facebook. It's the Breaking Into page. I actually have their website links on that page. So you can go there and after the show is over, of course, and go see what we're talking about. We're going to show some of their stuff, some of their fashions later too. But first, I do always say that actually, people should be nice. Nice should be the norm. I just think nowadays people are unnecessarily just mean and rude, and
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't really understand what that's about. Well, okay, so first I want to say, how did you guys meet and come up with this kind of, like, we're going to work together?
Want me to take that one?
Yeah.
Take that
so-
one. Take that one, Brent.
So we actually go way back, and this is actually a pretty cool part, I think, of our dynamic and our brand. We actually went to high school together. So we kind
We
of...
just graduated 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just came out. Yeah, they just graduated. Like,
That's a classic line.
I love that. I love that.
So we met in high school. We went to Lucerna High School in Whittier, California,
Oh, yeah, I know
which
it
is
is.
actually where our home base is now. And Veronica and I kind of ran in similar circles. She was more like the cool kids. I was like, I want to be cool. I want to hang out with them. Anyway, no, but she...
I believe it.
But so we kind of knew of each other, but she was actually, and still is, pretty tight with a woman who ended up becoming my wife named Jamie. And so they were buddies back in the day. In
Yeah.
fact, I found some incredible pictures of
Oh,
them
my
this
goodness.
weekend from like their days in high school. It's pretty funny.
Oh,
Some
my goodness.
serious eyebrow situations happening.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Before the tweezing happened. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Or too much tweezing.
Too much tweezing
Yeah.
on it, too, yes.
yeah, I mean, yeah, they.
So wait a minute, what grade did you guys know each other?
So I was a year older than her.
Okay.
So I mean, but we also went to all the same schools basically
Okay,
growing
yeah.
up. But
Yeah.
high school is kind of when we knew who each other were.
Yeah.
And then she was friends with my wife Jamie, who I reconnected with after college, and we ended up getting married. And when I started Dude Be Nice, I was just riding solo, kind of investing my own capital into the business to grow it. And I knew I needed help, especially on the fashion side. Dude Be Nice is a fashion brand, but frankly, like that wasn't my passion. Was more the brand, and I needed someone that like could make us cool. And
Hello.
and so my wife's like, oh, I know, like Veronica's like, super. She has such a great style, and I know she's kind of looking to kind of or kind of find something different. And then we at first it was just like, hey, we just talked, and I kind of was using her as like a sounding board and consultant. And And then she's like, I think I want to do this thing. And I was like, okay, I can barely pay you. And she's like, all right, cool.
Sure,
And so, you know, she's been part of the journey really since close to day one.
Wow.
And so, you know, she's my homie.
I want to ask you, because it's funny, you said Whittier, so I'm like, that's where my radio show is. It's in Whittier. So it's kind of funny. Like, no one knows what Whittier is.
We are hometown.
Come hang out with us.
I'm a Whittier writer forever. I still live in Whittier.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm on Pierce Avenue off of Whittier Boulevard.
Yes.
That big shopping center, I always go to that Denny's down there and everything.
Yes.
Yeah,
Come say what's up.
We're right near there.
I know it is. Yeah, so I want to see you guys. Okay, so, but first for you, did you always want to be an entrepreneur or solopreneur? Was that something that you thought of? Because you went to college, Did you go for
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always wanted to create something, and I always had this, like, thing inside me that told me I would create something, just not really sure exactly what that was. You know, I was always like hustling little things, like I was mentioning when we were first talking, like having a band, selling tapes on the side, or like, you know, having a kid pay me $5 in elementary school so I would protect him. Like I was hustling from day one.
I love that.
Why did that? What was?
That's
did
a
that
real.
kid know who
That's
you
a
were?
real story.
Wow.
First of all, I couldn't protect anyone, but hey, I convinced him, and my parents found out and actually had made me give the money back to him. I felt like a fool, but anyway, yeah. So I think
That
so.
spirit
I think
was there.
Yeah, I think the spirit's always been there. Now it's just a little. It's directed in a better way.
Yeah.
That's so funny. And for you, were you always a creative person? Was that kind of something? Or?
Yeah, I've always been. I spent 10 years in nonprofit development, so fundraising.
Okay.
So like just social issues and giving back was always really important to me. And then I was like ready for a career change. And I've always been very obsessed with self-expression through personal style. So the way that people dress and what they're sort of trying to communicate and the way that they dress has always been really fascinating to me. And so I wanted to go into fashion. So at the age of 30, I quit my career in nonprofit development and went to be an intern, which was really crazy. So I started my journey then, and within the year, I was at Dude Be Nice, which is, I always say, the perfect intersection of both of the things that really are like passions of mine, which is sort of creativity and self-expression, but also like a social consciousness.
What is one thing that you have taken away with you from being in nonprofits for so long, for 10 years? Because you stayed in it for a long. I mean, nonprofit usually is like it's a cycle, it's a life cycle.
Yeah, it's intense. I think just like the power of community and the importance of community, and understanding sort of what's going on around you and what needs are, and having sort of an attitude of service, I think, is really important.
Yes, that is very much. And I want to ask you, being in a band. First of all, were you lead singer?
Yes.
God.
You were,
Like,
I can't
yes.
believe we're talking about this.
I think it's hilarious. Also, I love to like this. So I want to know, when you were in the band, was it also we're going to try to become famous, or was it just like this was fun for it on the side?
Probably back then it was more for the attention, like, oh, girls thought it was cool, maybe, So yeah, and like I grew up in the '90s during like the pop punk, you know, Blink-182, like that. She rolls her out. She like thinks it's so hilarious. Well, no, she's kind of
so
despises that I love Blink-182, but you know what?
They were good. I like some of the stuff. They were good.
Thank you, James. You and I can go to a concert together.
Yeah, I will have to sit that one out.
It's just the one out.
But yeah, I mean, I just did it because I started playing guitar when I was in like 7th grade, and again, kind of it's cool to see, you know, what we're doing now. While obviously we're not a band, there's like a lot of the stuff that we're creating and doing. That's always been a part of kind of us. Now I think we've just directed it in like what we think is a successful.
Well, you just answered my question. That's my next question. Like, how do you use that in such a day? But you're creating. You're creating something for girls and for guys.
And something very what we call conscious.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to talk to you. So this is how you guys met. I love the diversity of your ads.
Yes,
Very conscious, isn't that?
Yes. So we describe ourselves as people who are trying to promote kindness, gratitude, and inclusivity.
Yes.
And so it's important that we have integrity and make sure that we are doing what we say we're doing. And so making sure that we're representation, you know, with our models, in our videos, and everything we do is happening.
But tell people that is very important. Imagery is very, especially for clothing. But that's important, isn't that? So when someone who may have freckles and red hair, but they're half black, they see something that looks like them. Right?
Yes, because if you don't see yourself if you don't see someone who looks like you wearing a brand that you might be interested in, you might tell yourself, this isn't for me. How can we be relatable to an inclusive audience if we aren't representing an inclusive, image, and so our models were a huge part in that. And so we got this really incredible photographer and invested in her, and she was really excited to work with us, and she brought a whole, group of incredible models that we were so honored to work with.
We have some, and we're going to show some pictures in a second,
Yeah.
but that's something I want to tell you. I was very proud of that, just seeing, because I come from a multicultural family, and I have multi-racial friends, and I saw people that look like people I know.
Well, we're both first generation Mexican Americans, so we both have
Believe it or not.
immigrant parents.
No, I know people don't okay, people.
But yeah.
Yes, people understand that Latinos come from every side of the spectrum
And we
because
It's
don't all look
it's a
the
big
same.
country.
We
It
don't
is.
all look the same.
No, we
Yeah.
don't, and we come through because of there was Spanish and there was German and there was African. I mean, we're all part of this. I
Yes.
mean, we're all part of the same group.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right, people.
Yeah.
Let's not
Yeah,
say
and I
this.
think on the inclusivity thing, I think we have a lot of work to do, and it's hard. You only do so many photo shoots, right? You only can do so many posts. So we're trying to be represented, but we're aware that we want to get better, which is why I think we're going to be successful, and hopefully people can be like, hey, I can vibe with this brand.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and show some of these. I'm going to talk about some of these I love. I love that shirt. I
Yeah.
love that shirt so much.
It's a top seller. People really
But I
love
love
it.
this shirt I'm wearing out here. I love this shirt.
Very
it feels,
simple.
It feels
Simple.
so nice.
Yeah.
And that's one of your latest ones, right?
Yeah, Brent is
wearing this.
modeling
Brent's
the
modeling
wish you were
that.
here.
Could you please turn around and no,
Yes.
yeah, right.
Oh, I really would.
Yes, I know you would. And then I love
Cowboy.
this.
Yeah, a muscle tee. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Power Eye. This is one of my favorites. I think
I
'cause
love
it can be interpreted in many different
Oh,
ways.
very major. Yeah, totally. I
Yeah.
love that. And for kids too, you guys.
There's little Drew. She's a friend of ours. That's her daughter.
So cute.
Yeah, and that's actually that graphic is also on like an adult sweatshirt.
And you're
That's the
wearing
one-
that.
That's the one I'm wearing.
Yeah, you're wearing that. Yeah, you're wearing that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm wearing that. But I want to show people the kids, the other stuff for kids too. But yeah, that one's your top seller. That's the one. That's the one I saw first.
Nice is.
Yeah, I saw. I was like,
Yeah.
I love that. I like this one.
Yeah. So
Tell people about that one. It's kind of a cool story.
So we, I personally have always had like a kind of a complicated relationship with the word nice.
yeah.
You know, because
Yes.
especially being like a woman, people
Yeah,
tell you
sure.
to be nice,
Oh,
and that
yeah.
kind of can be interpreted as obedient or be polite, and maybe in times that you don't want to be polite or keep your mouth shut. So,
Yes.
I think we wanted to offer some more context, so we collaborated with a writer by the name of Laura Mathis to redefine the word in the way that we see it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's a whole list of phrases that
Actually,
we
Richard,
feel...
can you put that one up again? It's the second one. So I want to see if I can see what I forgot what was.
I should know it by heart by now. Yeah, that's no the black tea.
The black tea. The black guy, black tea. Or mixed guy, whatever it is. I can't really see it, but I mean, I remember seeing it. And I liked it. I was
Yeah.
gonna make it larger. I was gonna do it. Let me see.
Yeah, if you can zoom in on the phrasing, I don't know, it might be there.
there
we
you
go.
go,
Yeah.
okay.
So take responsibility for your mistakes. Listen to learn. Remember, discomfort contains roots. Unwind your ego. Give what you can. Grant yourself forgiveness. Foster community. Support vulnerability. Cultivate compassion. Give thanks often.
And I love each of those things.
Yeah.
It's actually cool. We got like the first draft of that from our writer, and I think it was just cool. Those words, while they're from the writer we are working with, it was cool because Veronica sat us all down and there were a lot of other things, and we took votes. Like, does this relate with you?
Oh, right,
You're like,
okay,
do you feel
right.
like this is nice? And we'd have like a debate in the office. So it was cool. Like, there's just a lot of
It's
thought
very
that
much
went into that.
Yeah, it's very
love
much
it.
like molded sort of by us because we wanted to make sure it
I
really
love
represented.
every single thing on that list.
They could really live on their own, those phrases, like
Yes,
on a
they
tee,
can.
right? Yeah.
They could. Listen to learn is so I'm teaching a course these days on being the art of listening.
Oh.
And listening is to learn. Listening is to be compassionate. Listening is to not think of yourself. It's more than just hearing something. You have to listen and be present. So that's resonating for me right now. Right now in my life, I've been teaching that recently. And that's just listen to learn. I love that. And support vulnerability. And that goes for men too.
Yeah.
Especially men.
Yes, I know exactly. Exactly.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I have my saying here has been to lift each other up, pay it forward, and share knowledge. That's my thing here.
That's cool.
And that's why I try to do every single show. And I think you just did all three of those things, and just that alone.
Yeah, no, we I think that's why it sells so well on the site, because I think people, you know, for us, like Brent was saying, we are not, or he always says, is we're definitely not trying to promote perfection.
Yeah.
This is about a journey that really is never ending.
That everybody takes.
You know, find some self-awareness and do your best and try and connect with people, and especially people who might be seemingly different than you, and make connections.
I do. I love that. One of the things I want to ask you, because this is I think a fair question, isn't the clothing business just crazy to get into? Aren't there 8 million, 100 grillion places to do for clothes?
It's intense.
So how's that been for you guys?
I'll take that. You can.
Yeah.
I mean, it's honest. Our brand's very unique in that we're a clothing business, and our brand really is unique because there's a lot of ways. Dude, be nice. Like that's it. People get it, right? But we want to try to live and breathe that through a lot of different channels, right? And you kind of got to do that in this day and age when you build a business. It's not just like I could have just started a clothing company, Dude, be nice, and done okay. But that's kind of it can be gimmicky. It can be. There's not a lot of depth. So our brand has a lot of depth. And so that's what makes us unique, but it also is our biggest challenge because some people discover us through, I saw this cool shirt like on social media. I want to be a part of that. Some people see some of our videos and our stories that we create, or some people see, a school or a community that's like, Dude, be nice as a culture. So having said that, like having a clothing brand is challenging in a lot of ways. We're trying to... the blessing and the curse is that we're setting a new standard for that, where there's a lot of things that go into our brand. Yeah. But on the clothing side front, having a clothing brand is tough from an economic standpoint too. It's like when you look at it, sometimes you're like, this is like the stupidest business ever. Why are we doing this? Like from an inventory standpoint. Yeah. But clothing has such an impact on
it's our
personal brand, right? And so if we can influence someone's personal brand in a positive way, that's why we're kind of willing to continue to go after it. And we're trying to figure out from a finance and economic side, okay, how do we make all this stuff work together, and specifically, the clothing. But it is hard because we do a lot of custom apparel, which is an awesome business model because schools, communities, businesses across the country are like, hey, we want Dude Be Nice to be like our thing. So we get, big bulk orders. We order. It's a great business. Yeah. But when you have your e-commerce and you want people to have, get their apparel quickly as possible, like you stock the inventory, right? So you've got to have cash and all these challenges. So we're just in the midst of all figuring out how to do it the most efficiently. And clothing's a tough business. I mean, I don't know how many times I've come to her and be like, do you realize how stupid the economics of clothing business is? And she's like, we got to stay the course. So she's a good balance because I'm more bottom line, and she's like, the visionary in a lot of ways. So yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and I think it's changed too since I talked a little bit about integrity, and I feel like being a brand that really cares about people and community and affecting social change, we felt like it was time to make the leap into ethical production.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's the next question, so yes.
Yeah, so we, it's been on the goal list forever. But
your goal list, and you tried to convince me of why we should do it, which is good.
I was trying to say our goal list, but I was trying to include you in that.
Your goal list.
But it was always a thing, on my goal list because I felt like this is what we talk about, and while yes, our clothing has always met the standards, we just couldn't verify ourselves by visiting a factory to make sure. And so. We partnered with a factory in South Los Angeles that's also female-owned, which is exciting.
Love it.
And they become good friends of ours, the factory owners, and we know how much they care about their team and how much they invest in their team.
We've had so many crying heart-to-hearts with the owners of this factory. We're like, okay, we're all on the same page in life.
The name of the factory is Rich Honey. Did I say that? Rich Honey?
Rich Honey.
Rich Honey, yeah. Shout out Rich Honey.
Hey.
But so we were like, let's do this. And it is an investment because when a garment is made ethically in a fair wage,
locally.
Yeah, locally in a fair wage factory where people are getting paid what they need to get paid, you're going to pay a little bit more. But we really felt like our consumer was going to understand that and care and know that that we're not just speaking about community, but we're investing in community And so we did it. And
People are doing it now more, especially in LA. I was just talking to somebody who was visiting from San Francisco. They did the tour of the urban farms in Venice, Santa Monica.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, it's starting to have people are actually starting to create these things where you can actually see where your stuff comes from
Yeah.
and how
Yeah.
it's treated, or how like you said for them, how are they treated?
Yeah.
That's like more important now.
Well, and because we know too, I mean, there's countless stories, really tragic stories about, factories abroad and even here in LA. There's some really scary conditions.
Yeah, I know.
And I
Yes.
just, I think, and now that I've convinced Brent, it took some convincing because it is a huge investment.
Yes.
I think we feel very proud of that. But it's like a whole tricky thing then, because the price of your garment the cost goes up and your price goes up, and then you really have to convince your consumer that it's worth it. But I mean, you have it on your body right now, right? It's like
It feels
it's
good.
soft, it's gonna last long.
I know,
It's
I love
it's an
it.
investment. I think we as a culture, and even I suffer from this too. We can be very wasteful.
Yes.
We just want things right now, and sometimes in the fashion industry, you invest in things that don't really last that long.
There's a brand out there that has 2 letters. I'm not gonna say what it is.
Right. Yes. Right. Exactly.
I won't spill any tea today. As he drinks his tea, I won't spill any tea today.
Yeah.
But there are some
minding my own,
yeah,
right?
just hanging out, just us. Nobody's watching, just
Yeah.
us.
No big deal.
But yeah, I've known some places that are big box retailers that the clothes fall apart in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. And so sometimes, even though the clothing is maybe more
$5.
inexpensive up front,
Yeah.
it costs you more in the long run, because then you have to buy something to replace that, because after you wash it
exactly.
one time, it's falling apart.
Exactly.
So, why not just invest a little bit more and get something that's going to last you a while?
I completely believe that. I've always believed if you have a little bit extra money to do that, go
If
for
you
that thing.
can.
If you can,
Yeah.
go that direction, because seriously, like you said, in the long run, your wallet will thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I got a pair of shoes that lasted me 8 years. I mean, they were I paid so much money for them. They lasted me 8 years.
Those are always the favorites, too. The
Yes,
ones that
they
last.
are. And they last me like, and I finally had to say goodbye to them the other day.
Aw,
And
rest in peace.
I said, thank you for your service. I just thank you for your service.
I mean, that sounds great, but I do not want to smell those shoes after 8
Oh,
years
you
of
don't
service.
either. And I wear a size 14, so they're big shoes.
14?
Yeah, I do.
Well.
Thanks, Mom. I can swim. They totally like stay afloat all the time. But it's just funny. But I made a decision to spend a little extra money for these shoes. They were cute, first of all, of course.
Yeah.
But I decided to spend extra, and instead of going for the cheaper ones that pay less. Oops, I say so. And I went to this other place, got these shoes. They lasted 8 years. Where I've had other shoes where I've bought 3 or 4 pairs within that time period.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That adds up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's $20 a shoe, but that's like $100 after a while.
And then where are those shoes going after you throw them out, right?
Some landfill somewhere or whatever.
Right? So,
Yeah.
so there's so much impact.
How'd you find them?
So I actually belong to a networking group.
Okay.
It's more than networking group. It's like a lot of other women, moms who are in creative industries, and we made a connection.
Okay,
And
sure.
the owner of the factory and I are like very tight, and we
Okay.
just like clicked immediately.
Okay.
And it was really just like, it was almost destiny fortuitous, because it was like we
Yeah.
were having those conversations,
Yeah.
and then I met her and I was like, oh shit, shoot.
That's fine. That's fine. You're bachelor,
This,
it's fine.
this
fine.
could be the perfect time.
Yeah.
So
That's very. I love when I feel like I'm the 18. I love when a plan comes together. I love when people meet up like you guys do. Like it just comes together.
Yeah, I mean, that's the power of those networking groups. That's why it's important to talk and build relationships. You never know what's going to come of it.
It's important to, and this is a good business. It's important to say things out loud sometimes. Your wife, it's just her. Like if you hadn't said it, just like, I have pride, I won't say anything, and then nothing happens, and then you never know where you'll go.
Totally.
I was having a conversation with someone the other day, actually on a podcast, and I was saying, oh, maybe there's like an element of luck and to all of this, and he was like, no, I think it's about your intention. Like when you make this intention, you are like saying this out loud. This is what you want. This is what you're working toward. Like the universe is going to bring that to you. So, I think that's why we're so proud of the work we're doing too, because we're setting sort of really positive intentions.
I love also your self-care message you have on your website. The website's very easy very easy to look at, very easy to go through.
Yeah.
A couple clicks here and there, you're where you need to be, which is very smart.
I'm glad.
Very smart. I always look at websites because I took website courses years ago, and it was like, they're more than 2 clicks, they get lost, and they're done. And
Good.
You guys
Good
are
to
good.
hear that.
It's clean. Very good. But I like your self-care message because there's a message you write about being kind to others and yourself.
Yeah, we've kind of that's pretty new, actually. It's from day one when I go out and speak and talk about our brand, kind of from a high-level mission. I've always said, Dude Be Nice is an apparel company that hopes to inspire people to treat others better. And that's great.
Right.
But it's like, you're not ever going to be able to treat others better if you're not treating yourself well, whether it be, physically, mentally, and you have to take that time to like be good to yourself. And like self-talk is the blessed, that can be the greatest thing, but in most cases it's a very negative thing in our lives and what we end up doing and what we think of ourselves and how successful we are. And so we decided, let's just, change that to Dude Be Nice is an apparel company that hopes to inspire people to treat themselves and others better.
I want to ask you a question. It's just another level. This goes to diversity. The way you look, has that affected you in speaking to people or talking about diversity? Because I'm sure people go, "You're like."
Talk about this a lot.
We talk about this all the time.
No, I'm sure because I have grandchildren who are blonde hair, blue eye. We don't know where they came from. They reached back somewhere and got it from one of my grandparents or whatever. But they're like, so when I'm with them, they're like, "You're a grandfather, but you look closely. We look related." Like, but it's like at first they kind of go, "They're blonde, and what's wrong?" But do you ever get that when you're out and about, when you're kind of?
So I think so. For a while, it was interesting. I had, most people know me when they see videos and stuff. I had really long hair, like super long.
Yes.
If you look at some of our older videos, so it's like typical Southern California surfer kid. Like that's what I look like. Yeah. And frankly, that was a good thing in most cases because people are like, oh, a lot of school. Like I speak at a lot of schools and kind of like youth events, and they're like, we want a cool guy, right? And so the Southern California kid. So I would say it hasn't. I mean, I definitely like the schools that I typically speak at. It's the demographic is pretty. It depends. We've done some cool things, but I probably over-index on more of the white affluent type of schools, and that's just the reality, Right. And I've had some interactions with I went to a school. I'm not even going to name it, and I think there's a bigger issue. But I think I walked in the room. It was mostly black population, and like kids literally were sitting there, like had their backs turned to me. Like I probably didn't get as much of a chance with that community because I didn't look like them, and and I get that. We talk about that all the time, and so that's why it's important for us. We're built, and I tell Veronica, like you would. As a woman, and you're a Latina woman, and you look different than I do, like you will have far more success in other areas. So I think it's important. I mean, to her point earlier, like I get it. Like someone that you don't resonate with, even just we have on both sides of the equation, we have these implicit biases, right? So I think it's important sometimes to that's why we're building a team that is to go out and speak and talk to people that's different, like
and inclusive,
inclusive. Like I hope that people would give me a chance, but I'm sure that there's a lot of schools that aren't like calling me specifically because they're like, how is this guy going to connect with my students?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we talk. Brent and I have lots of conversations, and I think it's good that we are like having these conversations to talk about what it means to have privilege, whether that's socioeconomic or
gender,
based on the color of your skin, and so sometimes it's like a hard conversation to have. But I think we've both come a really long way in just recognizing that and saying, okay, that has been the case, and so now how can we reach a broader audience, a more inclusive audience, and really also connect with communities, like marginalized communities specifically, to really use our platforms to lift those voices up, because that's important to us.
So I feel like you both, you could, like, seriously, between you could reach the affluent and the marginalized. You probably it's a business. Hello.
Yeah.
And you could cover everything. And so I feel like
I will say this though, the experiences that I've had that are most memorable and meaningful to me since I started this company have been in I've had a lot. So anybody watching and listening, I don't want you to be hurt when I say this, because every time I've spoke or been to school, it's been like such a great experience. But the experiences that are most memorable and life-changing to me have been when I've been to communities like Reading, Pennsylvania, right? This is this is a mostly black community, right? Mm-hmm. And the image that a lot of these outsiders looking in have of this community is one thing, and I got the privilege to go hang out with these kids and do this incredible Dude Be Nice project where we celebrated someone in their community, and they gave me a chance, and
Wow.
I learned a lot. When I pulled up, I was very nervous. Like, what are they gonna think about me, or like, this guy, who does he think he is coming in here? And the grace that they gave me was incredible. And they even have a Dude Be Nice Day every year in February. This community, mostly black community, and that's amazing.
That is
and,
amazing.
And going to a school outside of DC where we did another project where, again, predominantly African American community, and like, just for me going in there with my expectations and kind of the love that I got, like, that's why this is such a beautiful thing. Because like, as cheesy as it sounds, like, love and kindness is like, and experiencing other people is probably the most beautiful thing in the world.
It's powerful.
It is powerful. It is. I mean, do you speak any Spanish?
I do. Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty well. Yeah, my dad was my dad is born in Mexico.
So funny.
So his first language is Spanish, and but he didn't actually grow up speaking Spanish in the home very much because he he got made fun of as a kid and stuff. So he was like, this is I'm here. This is my country now, and so. But in retrospect, he regrets it.
A lot. Well, there's a whole. That's all.
It was a different time.
Oh, so that's a whole other show. We can talk about that's a whole other show about
whole other thing.
first generation coming here and the whole because you're here, you're American now, so you gotta like almost like squash down the language, which is part of your culture. And it's a whole. That's all. Whole other show. We'll do that right now. I can talk about that all day long.
We'll come back.
We'll come back. We'll talk about that. I'll panel over. We'll talk about that at some point. So might do that.
I think I answered your question.
You did. You did. You answered
sometimes I go like the long way around.
No, you answered it perfectly because that's the thing. And I think I want people to hear that sometimes being the opposite, quote unquote, you're not. You're a person of color of sorts. Just that you look a certain way. That you should give people a chance, not just on judging a book cover. You should give people a chance, and that's where the learning begins.
Yeah.
For everyone.
For everyone.
For everyone.
I keep seeing that quote come. I don't even know where it came, but like success is on the other side of like discomfort or something that or whatever. And that's so. Anytime I've ever been like uncomfortable or scared or like that's when the cool stuff ends up happening when you actually like go for it.
And we each have that. I mean, as a woman, I'm sure you've gone to situations where it's like as a black person, I've gone to situations, or an older person or a younger person. We all have situations where we might be a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of our power is that we have experienced life and we're looking at life through very different lenses.
Yeah.
I'm a brown woman.
Yeah.
I mean, even just like in the way that I dress and having short hair.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I've been dismissed many
I'm
times,
sure.
or people make assumptions about me, and
I'm sure.
so I know how to speak up for myself, and I'd like to be able to use that voice to speak up for others.
Yes.
When I can.
So each of you guys, Veronica and Brent, what is one thing that has surprised you? Just one thing. It could be good, bad, and different. Just one thing that surprised you about being in business. Something you're like, oh, I didn't expect that.
I know.
Yes.
My naivety is why I started this company. In other words, I had no idea how hard it would be. Like, I really didn't. People say starting a business, and a lot of busises fail. I was like, I'm not gonna fail. I've done well in the corporate world, getting my checks and all that stuff.
Yes.
And it is an absolute roller coaster to have your own business. And I don't think it ever changes. Like, talking to very successful entrepreneurs, we're somewhere kind of in between. Like, we have been on this journey for a while, and it's just like it's emotionally tolling. Like, I mean, it's like this. Like for every win, there's like 15 disappointments.
Oh my God. Yes.
And it's and so like if you want to be an entrepreneur and you're watching this, like just go for it, but just be prepared to lose everything, to sacrifice birthdays, to sacrifice, like when I started this company, I had a bunch of money saved up, and I was like, I'll be a millionaire by the time I'm 35 and, kind of be cruising, and all that money that's saved is gone because I put it in this business, and people think, oh, you're CEO, you're rich or whatever, but no, I'm rich in a lot of other ways, but definitely not financially. Hopefully someday that'd be great to have that freedom, and that's why I've invested so much in this, but it ain't easy. It's hard.
I did a show here actually on our sister network, Popcorn Talk. I was being interviewed, and a clip of me went viral because we were saying how being an entrepreneur, it sounds great at parties. It's great time. Yeah, I'm a CEO of a company, blah blah. And I said it's hard as F.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that went viral.
Yeah.
It's like because that is people are like
real.
that's the truth. Anybody else was like That it describes it. It's hard as F. There were a couple of years ago. I've been in business 10 years, and a couple of years ago, I thought I was done. I thought this is it. I'm done throwing in the towel. I can't take it anymore. And literally a month later, I was back on top. I mean, like it's just like that.
We have that conversation like every month. Like we're done, and then it's like the biggest win ever. And
Yes,
it's like
exactly.
what?
Right, exactly.
It's just how it is. I don't know. Sorry,
Yeah,
you
that's
didn't
right.
answer.
No, I would have said the same thing first. That it's hard as
Way
F.
harder.
Yes, hard as F.
But I will say to just counteract that with a little positivity is I've really learned like how incredible like intuition is because I don't have a business background, right? I have a nonprofit background.
It's totally different, folks. Totally different.
But by the way, her parents, she didn't say this, but her dad's like has an incredible story, an entrepreneur. Mom had like a deli growing up, so she's got these awesome parents.
I'm surrounded by entrepreneurs. My husband's an entrepreneur. I am surrounded by entrepreneurs, but I guess I never thought that
You would be, yes.
I would be doing that. You know, my dad was always like pushing me to go do that because he said, Mija, you have it in you, and you're just like me. And I was like, no, Dad, I want to save the world. So, and he would laugh. He would laugh just like that too. But
Dad, is that you?
The incredible thing is that I have said to people that there has never been a doubt in my mind, even though I have felt challenged and have felt like down at times in this journey. There's never been a doubt in my mind that our business isn't going to keep growing and be wildly successful, because I really do feel like my intuition has helped guide me toward us. Yeah, me and then us ultimately. Guiding me and making decisions that I feel like are positively affecting our business.
Yeah, it's like when I don't know what to do, I'm like, what is your intuition telling us? It's powerful.
It really is. Cool. And we've talked a lot about intuition because it's not like some mysterious voice. It's like a combination of a lot of things, and I think really tapping into that has been incredible. I mean, I've grown so much personally and professionally as a result of this that. I'm grateful. I mean, it's hard, but I'm grateful.
Me too. I understand that. I mean, same thing. I'm not going to change it for you. I mean, I'm going to stay. Like I said, just get upset sometimes.
Yeah.
I drink a little more that week.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the whiskey? And then I'm fine. Like the next. I mean, you're right. It's that whole thing where some weeks it's just like nothing is going correctly.
Yeah.
Why is this happening to me? Why is it a contest? And then some weeks it's beautiful.
Yes.
It's beautiful. You're like, this is why I'm doing this. Oh my goodness. Because I'm the same way. I mean, doing this show and everything, I want to affect change in the world. And a lot of stuff that I do is that. My album, my books, everything I put out, it's all about affecting change in the world.
Right.
And sometimes that can be hard.
Yeah, it's hard to make a living sometimes doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very non-traditional.
It is.
And I think that's, like just speaking to Brent's point earlier, it's like we are doing something that no one else is doing right now. It's not exactly like any other business model that's out there. And so it's exciting being sort of, I'm not going to call us trailblazers, but, that's crazy. But, creating a new path. Right? It is exciting, but it's also scary because you have no other place to look for, like, as your North Star. You're like, are we doing this right?
Right. It's one of the things that I've learned from doing this for 10 years was that I always thought you get a job, the goalposts you have to reach to get to like management or whatever, and then you retire, and then you live in Florida. And that's what I thought I was going to do in Puerto Rico.
I think most of our parents, that's my dad was a educator. My mom was too. That was there. So like what I'm doing is insane to them.
Me too. Mine too. Oh, they don't know what they don't know what I'm doing. Like, so you did a thing for free. So you hope you get paid next time. I'm like, well, sometimes you got to do that sometimes to kind of build your business. But then I have to watch how much I do free, and it's all things. You don't get it. So you're working tonight. It's Saturday night. Well, I'm working tonight. I have some things that are due, and I got to take care of them.
I feel like sometimes my parents and my family have no idea what I'm doing. Sometimes they have no damn clue. No clue what I'm up to, and it's a totally different question to answer. I don't know if you can relate to this. When I had a 9-to-5, people asked me how work was going. I could answer that question easily. And now people ask me how's work. I'm like,
Same here.
I literally
I don't even know how to answer that
Same
question.
here.
What's the first question? Like when you're at a party, you don't know people. What do people usually ask you?
What do you do?
What do you do? Right? And so that was very, to your point.
Because you asked me when you met me, what do you like? You just do this?
Yeah.
I go, no, I
yeah,
do
I mean,
the whole-
it's like these are the number 1 to 2 questions. How's the weather?
Yes.
Or oh, the weather's great today. You make some comment about the weather, and it's like, oh, what do you do? And I was watching the Celtics game last week.
Yes.
And there were a couple with my buddy, and there were some women sitting at the bar next to me. Maybe they're picking up on me, but anyway.
Yeah,
no.
Of course they were.
I
Of
would
course
hope
they were.
so.
I
Of
wish.
course they were. Yes, of
Anyways,
course.
and we just kind of chit-chatting, first question is like, and I was like, oh, I know she's going to ask, oh, so what do you do? And it's like, that's so difficult. Like, I own a clothing company, I'm like a clothing company, but it's so much more than that. Like, it's this other thing. And so it's just hard to, it's a
I
lot of
understand.
energy to tell people what we do.
I understand. No, trust me, I understand. I understand completely. It is because you are much more than just say I own a clothing company. I mean, it's much more than that.
Yeah.
And that's why we went when we relaunched our line and went down this ethically made path. We did some really hard branding exercises to make sure that we could get our identity right, so that when we did reintroduce ourselves to our consumers and to new folks, that we were clear about who we are and what
And we're
we do.
still not 100%.
And what we care
You'll get
about.
there.
Yeah.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Yeah.
But I want to ask now the fashion side of this.
Yes.
Because this is something interesting. So you're just doing kind of outer casual wear? Is that what you're doing right now?
Yes.
What's the thing?
I would say right now it's graphic tees and sweatshirts.
Yeah.
We have some new hats hopefully coming out soon, maybe later this summer.
Okay.
But I want us to be a competitive clothing company.
Okay.
So I do think in order to do that, we'll have to expand the assortment a little bit and maybe do some basics and some other things. I mean, obviously we don't want to stray too far from what we know and what we do well.
Yeah.
But these are these pieces are meant to be worn every day. Yeah. So we would never, I don't think, create something that you couldn't wear every day or live in if you wanted to.
A parka?
No.
Well, you could do that in other parts of the country. You live in the Midwest or the East. Yes, you could wear those probably 6 months out of the year.
I just like the word. I just like
Parka.
saying the word parka.
Well, we have some concepts in the works for some cool, sets and some basics and and I think now that our physical clothing itself can tell a story in the way that it's ethically made, we aren't afraid that our branding is going to get lost because.
And it feels good. So did you choose fabrics? Everything was everything meticulously picked.
Yes.
And the dyes and I don't know how many times you had this
we went
dye
through 4 or 5 samples.
And it's
really?
basically, in my eyes, I'm like, it all looks the same, but there's so there's a lot of thought and
meticulous
rigor
process
around each piece for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, and we have a graphic designer who
Lizzie.
Hi, Lizzie.
What's up,
Amazing.
Lizzie.
Shout out Betty Guts.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's her Instagram handle.
Oh,
Sometimes
okay.
we like to refer to her as her Instagram.
It's okay. Hey, Betty Guts. Sure, why not?
But I think when we hired her, and she's the one that I really work with on developing these concepts and executing them.
Yeah.
She has been just such a blessing to our
Good,
business
good.
because when you have you find the right creatives and you're working together, you can create some really cool stuff. So
Yes, you can.
But yes, everything is meticulously designed and selected. I mean, every color is custom, and everything is cut and sewn by piece by piece.
Yes, and I love that. No, it feels good.
Yeah, it's comfy.
That's really good.
Yeah.
It's flattering to me too. I love it.
Yeah, all the fits are really, modern
Yes.
and
I like the sleeves.
Yeah.
It looks good on you.
Looks good.
Show them guns off.
It's big. I love it.
Dun,
Makes me flattering. Makes me flattering.
Yeah.
I know Michelle's probably just gagging right now. She's like, no, James, stop it. She's like, stop it. I love it.
But also, I did want to mention too
please
that
mention.
all of the pieces that we launched in this new line have a sort of an LA centric theme. So it's a
Okay.
way to sort of shout out our hometown. So the tee that Brent's wearing
Yes.
has the map coordinates of LA area,
Oh,
and the back
okay.
says "Wish you were here."
I saw that.
So it's a subtle shout out.
Okay, I like that. So you were very clear when you started, it was going to be in LA. It was going to be LA based.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, even like dude be nice, like it's amazing. Dude be nice. The word dude works everywhere.
Oh, yeah,
We've
totally does.
We've
Yeah.
discovered that works everywhere, whether you're
Yes.
in Wausau, Wisconsin,
Yeah.
or Southern
Oh,
California.
completely.
People use the word and kind of get it, and dude is very androgynous in terms of and gender neutral. In
Well, I
terms
know
of how
girls
you
say
use it.
dude all the
Yeah.
time too. Oh yeah, all the time.
We laugh about the fact that like we'll call like another car dude. I called my sink dude.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
you call
Oh yeah.
anything
Oh yeah.
dude.
Oh, easily. Oh yeah.
My backpack.
Yeah,
Yes.
so yeah, I think when we started it, it was the right fit too. It kind of like we have that lifestyle kind of it definitely still will always have a Southern California kind of vibe to it
Like that.
in what we do, and from a business standpoint, we know like it's cool to be from LA and Southern California. Like if you never like anytime I travel a lot, and it's like where are you from? Like people don't care about what I've got to say. Then they hear LA and they're like, "Ooh, have you met Jake Paul from the YouTube channel?" Or
Yeah,
like,
yes, they do.
have you ever seen a Kardashian?
Yes.
And it's like
That's
people are
so
just
true.
if people
So
just
true.
like I don't know have this like enamor with LA. So
Which is kind of cool because it does help with branding if you're
Yeah,
from LA.
totally.
Like instant. Like New York has its own kind of
Totally,
feel.
style, yeah.
LA has its own. Now Atlanta
even
has
music,
their,
right, has
Yeah,
different like
it
you
does.
got your East Coast rap, your West like
Yes.
all like.
Well, you
there's
said
just-
earlier the LA punk stuff.
Yeah,
LA,
yeah.
you know. I mean, it's very much you already have a built-in helper.
yeah.
For your
Yeah.
brand.
And there's like a already preconceived,
Yes.
notion of what LA is, and we want to play that up a little bit.
We're inspired by the communities that surround us.
Yeah,
So
very cool.
I would say if we can connect with as many local people as possible, that would make me very happy.
Well, you've connected with me.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
I'm so glad you guys did.
James, you're the new homie.
I'm the new homie.
Hit us up in Whittier.
Welcome to the DVN family.
I know. Thank you. Thank you. I take that seriously, and I want to come see you guys.
Yeah, come
there.
hang out.
Thank you.
I always ask my guests the same two questions, and they're never prepared beforehand unless they watch the show. But these are I believe in language, and obviously you guys do too. So here's the first one. I want to answer from each of you. What word? And I've experienced a phrase, and 115 people have answered the same question,
All right.
different ways. Should we not say any more in the English language? So make you work at the end a little bit.
Oh my God.
What word should we not say?
Or phrase. I've experienced a phrase because some people have some good phrases. Well, but word too. It could be word.
I want this to be like a very deep answer, but I don't know if I'm going to give you one.
I always do this at the end for everybody. So people give me some
Oh
really
my
great
God,
stuff.
this is so hard.
See, I know it's like
That's a tough one.
Especially for us.
Yeah.
Because you guys know words, so you do all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I have a 3-year-old daughter, and it's like what I'm thinking in my head is like,
Okay.
what would I never want her to
Ooh,
tell herself?
That's very interesting.
Um,
Well, I like that. Yeah, go with that. I like that actually. So what would she? What would she?
Stupid.
Whoopi Goldberg hates that word. She said that's a cuss word.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg always says that stupid's a cuss word.
Stupid. Like telling someone they're
Yes.
telling someone they're stupid might be the worst thing ever. Or even a stupid idea, because it's like amazing things happen from people that don't have a 4.0 GPA or and it's the reason I say that word. It came out. Did I tell you this story? So my 3-year-old
tell us.
daughter, she's testing the water in a
Of
lot of
course.
different
That's
ways
what
as a
they do.
3-year-old.
That's what they do.
And so we pulled up to the house the other day. I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 15-month, and we pull up to the house, and it's my wife and I in the car. I get out, shut the door, and my wife gets out, and I think my 3-year-old thought that she was like in the clear, and so out of the blue, she just yells "stupid," and I think she just wanted to like hear herself say it, and it was very malicious, kind of like "stupid," and I think she just wanted to hear herself say it, like it's kind of been like percolating, like
Yes.
what does that feel like and sound like, and I came around the other side and I didn't hear it, and my wife opens the door and says, "What did you say? What did you?" And just her look of terror, and stupid. I think that's like a telling someone to us it was like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with our child? She said stupid. What did we do as parents? Because it's such a like telling someone they're stupid, like that can impact someone someone's
know.
life,
Yes, I know.
and what they believe about themselves.
I know.
So I'm gonna stick with stupid.
That's a great one.
Have you ever had someone say that before? Am I the first?
No, there's a stupid.
Really?
No, there's a
Wow.
stupid.
All right.
I just said it reminded me of Whoopi Goldberg. She hates
Yeah.
that word. She always
Yeah.
says that's a bad word.
Yeah, stupid's a bad word.
I think I would say the phrase "I know."
Why? When my kids say it to me, if you knew, you wouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
I hate that.
And I think it's because
It's
sometimes when
dismissive.
you hear that, it's extremely dismissive, and most of the time when you hear somebody say "I know," generally they don't.
I know. That's exactly. I just said it. I know. See, I can do comedy. But seriously, I
like that.
And I think that has a lot to do with too, like people having these like making assumptions
Yes.
about people, prejudice.
Yes.
I mean, it go across the board. When you try and have these like real conversations with someone, they're like, no, I know, I know,
And
and
I'm
you're like,
I'm such a troll now. I'm gonna like say it to her all the time.
Of course. I mean, just
I'm like an annoying
but do
little
you
brother.
really know? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
Yeah.
Now, here is the converse of that. So, what word or phrase should we say more of?
You're smart.
Hey, okay, sure. Why? Like,
You're smart.
you're smart.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
No, I think people like. I think so. And again, I'll use this as an example. I think my wife growing up never thought she was smart, or like, not because anyone told her she wasn't, but no one told her she was. And so,
I get that.
And so she just kind of didn't believe in herself and have a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
But she's truly one of the smartest people I know. Not necessarily because she, can solve a calculus problem, but she's so emotionally intelligent and in tune with like wanting to make other people feel
She really is.
good about themselves
Wow,
and special and feel loved, and like that's smart. It's not just because you get good grades, and emotional intelligence I think is a high I mean that to me equates smart, but also I hope my daughter thinks it's cool to be smart, and smart can mean we should just do a smart is shirt with like all
Yeah,
the things
exactly.
that you are.
Yes.
So smart. Yeah, you're smart.
Okay.
Maybe like I don't know, one of two. Maybe like I hear you, or like
that one.
I understand. I think like I hear you. I'm really big on communication, and I think like especially in relationships, whether they're intimate or at work, sometimes you don't always feel heard, and I think as a brown woman, I haven't always felt heard.
Yes, I'm sure.
So when someone actually takes the time to listen and they don't speak over you, and then after you get to speak what you need to speak and they say, I hear you, I feel like that's very different than saying, I know, or going on to whatever other point they feel like they need to make.
I've been actually using that particular phrase more now in my language. I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
That'd be a cool shirt, by the way.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
Brent's over here designing shirts.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm like thinking of my next song, my next album. No, but I would say that a lot more recently. I've been doing this whole listening language thing, but I've been really telling people, okay, no, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I hear what that means. I hear what that means for you.
That's different, right? Than someone saying like, I understand.
Right.
Or got it.
Right,
You
right.
know, it's different.
I'm a language person, so I'm a writer.
I
just
love
kinda
those
do it.
questions.
Those are great.
Thank you. So I've been asked this from the very beginning. I've been doing this show almost 2.5 years. I mean, that's what I've been doing.
People are stumped always in the beginning.
Oh yeah, they always are. And I was like, but then they come up with stuff. You guys come up with some great stuff.
I'm glad. What's your favorite answer so far that you've done?
Actually, it's not a favorite answer.
Or-
It's not a favorite answer, but it's an answer that's come up several times, which is just love or lovely. Someone just said, I like the word lovely. Like, you are lovely today. This is a lovely day. Like, you don't say it enough. And a guy said that.
Yeah, lovely.
Big macho guy said that was my show.
Yeah.
And I remember he said that, and I thought, I like that. I was like,
That's
you're lovely.
nice.
I told him. He was like, oh, and you guys are lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Love is a good one too.
Love is a good one. It's very underrated.
I like lovely. That's a good one.
But lovely, it was very specific. It was like,
Yeah, I like that.
because he told his mother she was lovely today, and I was this little
Yeah,
bit
that's
like,
cool. You look lovely. Like that's like that's
Yeah.
like way better. Oh, you look hot, right? It's like lovely's like a very
It's more than just your appearance. It speaks
Yes.
to like your spirit.
yes,
Yeah.
That's when he said that. It's not my favorite, but just one of my ones I really like.
stands
that.
out,
It
yeah.
stands out. That I like that. That's interesting. I never heard that before.
Well,
But
this has been lovely.
this has been lovely.
lovely.
I'm so glad you guys answered. I mean, see the power of social media.
Yeah.
You never know, and you never know who's watching you. That's the thing. You
Totally.
never know who's watching
It's
you.
true.
And so you should always just do well and be yourself. And I think people will find you.
yeah.
And,
I
and
found you
thanks
guys.
thanks for bringing us here so more people
My
can find
pleasure.
us.
My pleasure. In that camera there, tell me one of you guys or somebody tell people where they can actually find your products online and that kind of stuff.
Yes. DudeBeNice.com. Go shop our products
Yes.
and watch some really incredible videos. You can find us on Instagram at DudeBeNiceLA and on Facebook at Dude.BeNice.
Perfect.
Did I miss
perfect.
any?
Twitter's just Dude Be Nice. We're not very active on Twitter because
We need to be,
social
though.
media is just very
Hard.
daunting to keep.
It's
to
a lot
keep
of
up
work.
with.
It's a lot of work.
So we're just being more strategic about like what we focus on. But that,
Instagram is the place.
Yeah.
Oh, but you can find us personally at Wearing That and
At BCammy2424.
Oh,
I don't
jeez.
even know. I'll tell you. But you know what? Not a
We're
lot.
not
Not a lot
important.
going on there. Not a lot going on that one. So we can just head over to Dude Be Nice LA.
Yes, go to Be Nice. And you can follow us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube under Breaking Into under Black Hollywood Live. Our page on Facebook is Breaking Into. You can find, I'll have their links on there so you can make it a little easier for you. And you can find me where all James Lott Jrs. are sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. Buy my new album. It's called Songs from My Inside Voice. And it's out on all music platforms. And I'm very proud of it. It was a year in the making. I'm James Lott Jr. and I love you guys.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.